Hi, Collective. Welcome back to the DGC. It's your Divine Goddess, DEVI. I hope everybody is doing well. So, we're back for another intuitive reading, and let's jump right in. So, I had a card jump out as I was getting the deck, and it says, I'm at the crossroads. Should I fight for this or move on? Relationships are a lot of work. Being single is easier, right? So this could be you or them, collective, but knowing the energy, it more than likely is you, collective, feeling this way. You're not sure if you want to continue on with something. Maybe there's some blockages, some barriers, some obstacles. Okay, maybe there's a separation, or some type of divorce decision, big choice on the table about which way you're going with a relationship at this time. On the bottom, it says, I'm going crazy without you. I want to see you so bad. This is this person talking. So this is you all at the crossroads. Someone knows that you're fed up or tired with some type of behavior or activity or energy that's going on within this union, relationship, partnership, situationship. You know what I mean? Someone knows this. You all are not together from what this energy is saying. There's a separation, there's a barrier. You have this person blocked in some type of form or fashion. Yeah, somebody says they miss making love to you. They will do anything just to hold you again. And they say they were hiding their true feelings from you because they were scared of commitment and they didn't want to lose their freedom. Okay? So maybe somebody was holding back in a relationship from you that you've been in recently, right now. This is the present energy. Somebody you've been dealing with in your recent history that you maybe said, you know what? This is a game. Somebody doesn't take this seriously or take you seriously. They're not being mature. They're being immature. Okay? They're holding back, being secretive, and you just don't feel safe in a relationship, basically. So you said, you know what? Enough. It's much easier to be single. We have all this information out here right now, collective, and it's letting people make more informed, smarter decisions about relationships, and who they link themselves with and who we link ourselves with. So this is what's going on. So the reason why someone couldn't give you anything at the time that you were vibing with them, and this is recent energy, you've been wondering what's up with this person, you thought you were a pretty honest person. You thought you came to the table, pretty straightforward, you thought you weren't rushing anything, you thought it was a smooth, cool pace, or it should have been, or should be. So let's see what else is going on. It says they want a second chance. Not being with them is killing them. All right. So that says it all. Someone's going crazy. They want a second chance, They want to reintroduce themselves to you, They said they used to get in their way, but you put them in their place. You kind of didn't fall for any tricks they set up because, mind you, this is an intelligent person as well. They played some games here. And I believe they thought you were just like the rest, or, this could be in any capacity, like I said, situationship. This was a relationship. You already know how that go. It was the push and pull of it all. It's kind of like trying to get the person to, reciprocate energy. And you're like, you know what? I'm not with this. And this time around, collective, you're not wasting any time on anyone who's not wasting time on you. Point blank and period. Okay? If it was some type of friendship, you know what I mean? Or a family member, anything like that. Yeah. They may have been, you was there for this person. You call this person. You check up on this person, whenever they need anything. And when it's you need something from them, you call them or whatever. It's like it's not reciprocated, And so you cut this person off. You said, you know what? Maybe you don't need a friend like me. Or maybe you don't need a sister or brother like me. Or, maybe you don't need a peer like me, Someone in your career field industry, that you thought was on your level or something like that. You all were trying to, make a connection, network with this person, and they just weren't giving you the time of day. acting like their business was more important, or, whatever they had to say or do was just secondary. Priority to, whatever you all had going on. So they say they want a second chance. It's killing them, and they feel crazy without you. They miss you so bad. What else, Spirit? They say they're on a spiritual journey, and you have awakened them. You see that? You're the catalyst for this person's change, apparently, right now. They're thinking on a different level. You're making them think differently than they've ever thought before in their life. I don't care what people think anymore. I've been given bad advice. I'm listening to my intuition. They know you are the one. Okay? When they say the one, collective, this could be in a relationship. However, it could be the one, you know what I mean? The one in life who actually is real. The one in life who actually is honest. The one who is actually a good friend. The one who is actually a good partner or a good mate. The one who is a good business associate. You are actually the good the good co-worker, or you're actually the good peer in school, or you're actually that good auntie or good uncle. You know what I'm saying? You are what you say you are. You're living up to it. They stalk you. Someone's stalking you. They check up on you often. Right. They say you're different from the rest. They didn't mean to do anything. They didn't mean any, oh, they say you're different from the rest. They didn't mean anything to them. They only want you. You know what I mean? Whatever third party interference, whether it was other friends, family members, just gossip, anything like that. Whatever it was actual person, you know what I'm saying? A lover, anything like any third party interference. They say you are different from the third party interference, okay? They're saying it didn't mean anything to them, but you got to be careful with that, collective, because had you not separated yourself or caused some type of divide or blockage, would they still be doing it to you? That's what you got to ask yourself. You know what I mean? Give us more, Spirit, the collective. They say this was a hard lesson they needed to learn. They were out of control. You check this person, collective. Check this person, these people. You know what I mean? Could be several of them. It doesn't have to be just one. It could be a lot of people. Look, please unblock me. Yeah, that's me calling you from an unknown number. Yep. You have a wedge, some kind of block, some type of distance, and now they're trying to reach out to you through telepathic communication. Because, of course, they didn't think that you would walk away. They didn't think that you would stop, being close with them. They didn't think so. Hold on for a minute. Here. I don't know why that happened. My radio been playing this whole time and it went off. I guess Spirit wanted you all to hear that message clear without anything in the background. Right. They said they ghosted you. It was getting too intense. They don't let people in their life easily because they have trust issues. See that? That's what they say. But let's get another card. Let me do it one more time. And let's see what the last thing is they have to say. Because you tried to, you tried to show this person a better way, Somehow you tried to show them something and they didn't want to be a part of, the journey. Right here it says addictions clouded their vision. They're trying to get their life together. Okay? So they were addicted to several things, you know what I mean? Anything from promiscuity, anything from actual substance abuse. It could be addiction to their own ego, addicted to attention, always wanting to be seen, all that, They could be addicted to power tripping, addicted to power. Okay? They could be addicted to control, wanting things their way, Okay? So many addictions there are out there. You know what I mean? Corn, you know, they could be addicted to the nightlife, just being out there. Some people are addicted to the streets. They can't get out the streets, can't stop, selling certain things and being involved with certain type of people, If it's sexually, some people are addicted to that industry, you know. just doing things in that industry. You know what I'm saying? Some women continuously circle themselves back to that industry over and over again, you know, whether it's being a good time girl, call girl, you know, street walker, prostitute, you know what I'm saying? All these things, escort, you know what I mean? They find themselves back over and over, repeating that cycle. But they say they love your swag. They love the whole package. You are the whole package to them. That's what they say, collective. Okay? So let's get some more cards, because this is pretty interesting. This is pretty interesting. Let's overlay. Right before we do that, let's get these. Hold on 1 second. Give me a second. Let's see. Okay, what card I'm going to use? 1 second, collective. Let's see what's going on. Someone is definitely awakened with intuition on the bottom of the deck. They now see what you are talking about. They see what you're talking about. It says heart song, telepathy, and inner knowing, okay? So let's see what else Spirit got to say. Spirit, can you give us more insight on this person that's going crazy without the collective because they want a second chance at being in the collective's life, no matter what level it's on? Anything from a partner to a situationship, to a friendship, okay? To family bonds, you know, anything, you know, working relationship bonds, social circle bonds, all of that. Spirit, can you give me some information? Okay, these cards was kind of sticking out a little bit, so I want to see what that is. It says attachments, third parties, and peers. There they go. Okay, there they go. A lot of people got into this person's head at the time. They said they don't care what people think anymore. They did at the time that you were with them, and now they're using their intuition to really dig deep and figure that out. This person also could have had mental issues or has mental issues, all right? And they're easily influenced or easily distracted, you know, or carrying a lot of wounding, you know what I mean? A lot of thoughts. You see, there's so much going on in their head. They're carrying so much in their head. Their thoughts are very, very busy. Those birds I look at are, you know, sometimes some people could hear voices in their head. These are all the people that influence those voices, situations and experiences they've had that they can't get rid of. This also looks almost like a upside down haunted house. You know, this person could be fragmented, you know, a shell of themselves or a ghost of themselves, but people don't really know that. They can't really see that. They say they've been given bad advice. You know, people have told them to do things that really disrupted their life. And we do have divine masculine right here. So it's masculine gang energy coming right under the stalker alert. Check up on you often. That doesn't mean it's an actual man in body. That's masculine energy. It could be a feminine, you know what I mean? Who's very strong in her masculine energy. I know that much. Yeah, shocking, right? Okay, turmoil, trouble, and unexpected. Whew, this person is going through a lot mentally, if anything, you know, concerning a return into your life. They know you were different from the rest, you know what I mean? And they know they were foolish to not have noticed that. You notice it's a bunch of people. The rest and they don't matter, and you know, yeah, they only want you. You know what I'm saying? That's signaling there was many people here in competition, you know, for this person in front of you for some reason. Whatever it was, like I said, in whatever situation you all were in with whoever this is. And they're exhausted right now. Okay? They're going through a lot of mental anguish, collective. You know, the Most High, you know, Mother Goddess energy is kicking their ass. This was a hard lesson they needed to learn. And they were out of control, collective, concerning you. So now they're conflicted. You see what I'm saying? The merry-go-round, the Ferris wheel. The Ferris wheel. Decisions hot and cold, multiple choices. They want to be unblocked. But you see how many people they had going around, circled, you know what I mean, in their head? You know, birds and Ferris wheels. Why wouldn't you walk away in that, collective? You know, why wouldn't you in whatever situation that is? How dare people say they love your swag and they know that you're the whole package, but completely do the opposite of what they know is right and just to do. Someone's upset though right now. They're mad at themselves more than anything. They're so upset with themselves. They're having a hard time. Limit, final straw, and they're very overwhelmed about the farewell and the closure apparently that is going on right now. Okay? This person was linking up with people that thought like them. So it kind of egged it on, you know what I mean? It kind of made them feel powerful, you know, because they had someone who agreed with what they were doing or what they were saying or how they were behaving, and you knew better than that, especially when it came to a divine masculine energy. Yes. Okay, this is a feminine right here. That's what the face looks like to me. Okay. Maybe this person had a lot of people talking and gossiping about you. You know what I mean? And you had to really think about that. You know, you really had to say, is it better being single? Is it easier? And you know, is this thing truly, truly broken? You know, this friendship, you know, and this just fell back. As I said that, this friendship, look, you like, do I need to fall back? Do I need to fall back from this with the broken, you know? Shattered, heartbroken, destroyed, you know? For a lot of you, you hide this. You hide this. You see commitment? Some of these people are very close to you all, collective. It says marriage, promises, fidelity. You know, it could be that actually, or just close relationships. You know what I mean? A buddy, a friend that you've been with since forever. Or, you know, you have a mate that you two have been together forever. You know, it's just been a long thing. You know what I mean? A long thing. Someone is extremely sad. Someone is extremely sad, collective. You know? These made you heartbroken as well, collective. You hide this. You hide this. You know? You act like it's okay when it concerns family, close circles, close bonds. You know? People who should have had strong commitments with you. And now, you know, you're like, man, you see those birds? You release them. You release them out of your mind. Remember? Over here, you release them. They're here. Some of you just gave birth as well. I can clearly see that. And now you're healing, you know? Some of you lost you know, a spouse, or either lost like a fiance or something. You were going to get married, now you're not. And now you're doing the single parent thing. I can clearly see that. There's a broken bond, a broken mirror here for a family situation. There's a pregnancy. There's what looked like an engagement or a marriage. And, you know, there's you in singleness, you know, in singleness. See? Chasing possibilities. Okay? Free-spirited adventure and risk. And now there's bitterness. Oh, there's bitterness. Resentment, anger, hurtful words. What did I tell you? And this is coming right under what? Breaking point, limit, final straw, and overwhelm. You see that? Okay? Somebody is so upset with themselves. Like I said, somebody could be mentally ill, you know, and maybe you all knew that and you had to leave, you know, to protect yourself in some type of way, you know? Right under clouded my visions with they're trying to get their life together, the addictions, right? The very next card is distracted, you know? Somebody is distracted by the things that they're doing, whether it's drinking, some type of drugs, you know, that make them hallucinate and fantasize, and, you know, could be some forms of schizophrenia, you know what I mean? Could be new drugs, you know? Or it could just be a lot of drinking, a lot of alcohol, sidetrack, change, delays, you know? This person is drowning in their emotions, you know, with this bitterness card. Is very thorny. It's very thorny, you know? Give me one more card, Spirit, to complete this. And it's the memories that's triggering this. That is what's triggering this. Reminiscing, dwelling, and bittersweet right now. That is what's triggering this emotional storm, collective. Yep. Turmoil, unstable, and affected. That's what they are. They are going crazy without you. They hope to one day fix it somewhere, another day, another time, you know? And that this has left them so confused. This has left them so confused, you know? They really, really want you so bad, but they know it's forbidden for them right now to be with you, around you or something. You know, you've blocked them, you know? You've basically told them they're shallow. These are empty people. They're bored. They want to say sorry. They feel very trapped by webs and lies that they spun and spoke. You know, it's very sticky. You didn't get caught in it the way they wanted you to. And it's very confusing to them, you know, because they wanted to keep you with them. That's why they're hard focused. They're very confused about that. They wanted to, with soulmates, keep you with them. But you didn't stay. You escaped. You escaped. Escaped. See that? Didn't work, you know? They jumped all in with their traps and with the things that they told you and the mixed signals, you know, wanted you to be stuck, captive, you know? They wanted you to be in deep love with them, unity and connection. So deep, you know, that you overlooked things, you know, whatever they were doing. Because you broke this off, you told them no. They want to apologize. You're like, no, you're shallow. You do too much out here in these streets, in these spiritual streets, you know? You let too many attachments and things, you know, whether it's physical, you know, or whether it's, you know, in the 5D, you know, you're picking up things. It's too much confusion, and God is not the author of confusion. I told y'all that. So you all said you're going to opt for nourishment and peace in your life. That's what you opted for. That's what you're opting for right now. You're opting for nourishment and peace, self-growth, self-focus, and soul finding. That's where you are. You don't have time to worry about the commitments with family, friends, you know, associates, you know, business peers, work peers, you know. You like enough of this broken energy. It's time to nourish yourself and find peace in the midst of all this. And if that means you got to block a few people or a lot of people, you're going to do it. But these people, that doesn't stop them from being obsessed with you, or collective. They are still very obsessed. Infatuation, adoration, and addiction right here. They are obsessed with you. Okay, maybe let me put that over here, because the very next card is, this is over bitterness and memories. That fits. The very next card is beauty. Charming, graceful, and kind-hearted. That is you, collective. That is what they are thinking about. You. Over family. Over family. That's where they at with it right now. Okay? They said this was a hard lesson they needed to learn. You're different from the rest. You know, every butterfly is different in its own way. In its own way, collective. You know what I mean? Let's get a couple of more cards from a different deck, and we're going to roll on up out of here. That is, wow, baby. Baby. This is a quick little deep one. I didn't know they was going to bust out with their feelings like this, collective. You know? Whoever this is, you know, that showed you their ass to kiss, you know what I mean? They was really acting up like they didn't know you. Whoever this is, they were close to you and you couldn't believe it. Serious. This could have been a husband, you know, a wife, brother, sister, mother, father, you know, grandma, grandpa, you know what I'm saying? Auntie, uncle, you know, friend, best friend, you know, girlfriend, boyfriend, you know, schoolmate, you know, peer in your work field. Okay? Could have been a plethora of people. A social associate, you know what I'm saying? Social circle associate. You know, somebody you do business with, you work with out in your field of industry. You know what I mean? It hurts you, whatever it was, collective, really. You know? I see here it brought back a lot of childhood wounds, not only for you, but for them too. For them, but for you as well. That's what I'm trying to say. A little jumbled up with my words here. Okay? Spirit, give me a final message. Close this reading out. What does this person want the collective to know? They've always been afraid of this love. You've always been a powerful magnetic love in these person or people's lives. Whoever these people are, you've always been very, very magnetic. Okay? You could always pull everybody together. They said they know one day you all will find your way back to each other. That's why I said that one day energy. Okay? They said they can't stop thinking about you. You see that, collective? They can't stop thinking about you. This is where this is all coming from. Okay? They fell in love with you the moment that y'all connected. See? They knew you were special the minute that they met you. They love your swag. You're the whole package, collective. No one will ever compare to you. You're the whole package. Okay? Whoever you are. You know? And it's many whole packages. Like I said, it's a lot of us number ones out here. You know? On your level, where you are in your life, having your experience. Okay? Spirit, give me a little bit more. Okay? Give me some more. Close this reading it. They say they feel this insane attraction to you. Okay? That's that obsession right here. That's what they feel. Okay? Any other time, collective, I'm playing that and it don't never do that. Sometimes I imagine how my life with you would feel. Okay? They're thinking back now, had they stayed the course and been who they were supposed to be to you, you know? They said you all are forever soul and heart connected, you know? This red energy lets me know, you know, this anger, you know, they're angry with over this bitterness. It says anger on this card, right? They will forever remember you as a catalyst, you know, to send them on their spiritual journey. They're upset at themselves, collective. They say they want to come into alignment with you, you know? They would love nothing more with memories, reminiscing, dwelling, and bittersweet to be back, you know, around you, friends with you, family with you, whatever it is that you all were to one another, they want that back. They say your smile is making them melt every time they see your face. So somewhere they see you, collective, if not in the memories of pictures and videos, you know, some type of media they have. They actually can see you if you're in the public eye, you know, anything like that. They can see you. Okay? And they said their loneliness is killing them when you're not around. So even though they may have other people or did other things, you know, collective, you were a true soulmate. You were a true friend, a true family member, you know, a true partner, whoever you were to them. All right? Well, collective, let me see. Anything else, Spirit? Nothing else. I think that is the reading, collective. You left this person pretty speechless. Whoever you are, collective, you have left them pretty speechless. They say they fell in love with you the moment that y'all connected. They fell in love with you. And they say they are so proud of who you have become. They have watched you develop with this butterfly, you know, and grow and change into so many beautiful things. And they're kind of upset that they're not a part of it. They're sad about it, you know, very, very sad. And once again, that is the truth. That is the end of the reading, collective. That is the end of the reading. All right, collective, please like, subscribe, and share. Stay blissed as long as you exist. And I was just looking at the last card. I'm just going to leave it like that. This person thinks so highly of you. We'll say that. Stay blissed as long as you exist. And I will see you on the next one, collective. They are speechless. They are speechless. Wow. Take care, collective. To the next one.